My name is Dylan from C1 English, and in this video I'm going to give you some suggestions for overcoming the intermediate plateau and going from intermediate level to advanced. In other words, reaching C1. So before I do, I think it's really important to know that the intermediate level is often very, very difficult for people because, as you can see from the image on the screen, when you begin doing something new, like learning a second language, at the beginning, your progress is really fast. And so you're really motivated to continue learning, and you're really pleased and happy and satisfied with your progress. And then you reach intermediate level and you're quite good at this point. You're able to do lots of things in English. And yet your progress seems to slow down, and maybe you're not so motivated anymore. You're not so engaged in developing your English anymore. And you start to realize that there's a big difference between your English and the English of advanced, fluent or proficient speakers. And that can be kind of frustrating. And many people stay at this level for a long, long time. In fact, many people never go beyond this level. They stay at intermediate level and they can do a lot of things in English. They can use English a lot in their daily, even their working life, but they're not really very good. So if you need to do more complex, difficult, maybe even interesting things in English, you can find it difficult when you're intermediate. And this is a real difficult part of the journey to being a fluent and competent and confident English speaker, because you have to go through this period, which can take a long time. The good news is that if you're able to go through this period and go from intermediate and reach advanced, then again your progress tends to speed up, becomes quicker again. And again, at this point you think, wow, I can speak quite well. I'm really enjoying this. And so the motivation and the enthusiasm often returns. So this is the difficult part, getting from sort of B2 to C1. And I know most of you want to reach C1 because that's the level at which you can really perform, express yourself and communicate effectively in English. So in this video, I'm going to suggest you do something, which is take control. Okay, you need to become a self-directed language learner. So perhaps you should think of it as being a bit like you're an entrepreneur. You're someone who has your own business, and your business is developing your English language. So you need to put all the things in place in order to progress and be successful in your goal of becoming a confident, competent English speaker at C1 level. So I think there are 5 keys to become a successful, self-directed language learner. And you take control and take responsibility for your development. Now, that's not to say that you do it all by yourself, but you're able to actually make better choices about the materials you use, how you work, the methods, and everything like that. In other words, you take control and take responsibility and make choices about your language learning development. Now remember, you can do this because you're an adult, you're intelligent, you have experience, and nobody knows you better than you. Okay? So by reflecting on what you do and what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and your own personality and your own goals and what you want to achieve, I'm sure you'll be able to design your own English language development. So I think there are 5 key aspects, and the first aspect is motivation. Motivation. Now there are 2 elements to this. First of all, what is your long-term motivation? So what do you want to achieve? What is your goal? So for example, I want to be a fluent English speaker. I want to do my job really effectively and efficiently in English. Okay, so you want to become a really strong communicator in English. Okay, now that's your long-term goal. That's what gets you going, the motivation. It starts you on this journey. The problem is, you've also got to keep going, and it's a long journey. It's a long journey with many ups and downs and many obstacles to overcome. So you need to work out what keeps you going. as well as your long-term goal, what will continue motivating you through your journey as an English language learner. So this could be, for example, focusing on small goals. What do I want to do in the next day, in the next week, in the next month? Okay, setting milestones which will show that actually you are progressing and moving in the right direction. I think it also helps to think in terms of habits. Okay, so what can you do? What habits can you develop in your everyday life that will help you move forward and progress? So it might be that, okay, every day I'm going to listen to a podcast for 10 minutes in English. Every day I'm going to read one article in English and learn 10 new items of vocabulary. Every day I'm going to have a 20-minute conversation with an English speaker so I can help improve my fluency. Okay, so it's all part of motivation. And if you set yourself small goals, smart goals, regular goals, and develop these effective learning, study habits, then I'm sure you'll move beyond intermediate and go towards advanced. But yeah, you really need to think carefully what motivates you and what keeps you motivated. And often things we enjoy, things we're interested in, will really help us stay motivated. When we do things we don't enjoy or they're boring, especially if there are no obvious results, it's very difficult to stay motivated. As well as motivation, you need to work on your mindset, okay? How you think. Now, there's a very interesting idea that some people have a fixed mindset and other people have a growth mindset. And a fixed mindset is where you think, I'm no good at learning languages. Okay, so I'm not going to progress. I'm not going to develop. I'm not going to improve because I'm just no good. That's a fixed mindset. Okay, you're limiting your ability to develop because it's something you believe. Now, are you correct? Are you incorrect? Is it possible for someone to be a bad language learner? Well, everyone learns their first language, and many people around the world also learn second, third, fourth languages. So I would say that most of us are capable of learning a second language to a high level. So this is where your fixed mindset doesn't work. So perhaps you need to change it to a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is a developmental mindset. So you think, okay, I'm not so good at the moment, but if I work hard, if I focus, if I practice, if I listen to the feedback I receive from people, then step by step, I will grow, I will develop, I will improve. This is a growth mindset. Now, you might think that you have a fixed mindset, but the good news is you can often change that to a growth mindset just by changing how you think a little bit. And you might need help to do that. So these are all these beliefs that we have. And some of these beliefs are, for example, cultural. So I have students who say, I'm Spanish, and as you know, Spanish people are not good at learning languages. Is that a fact? No, it's an opinion. Is it a correct opinion? I don't think so. I know lots of Spanish people who have learned other languages successfully, so it's not a fact. So you need to really reconsider some of these beliefs that you have, which could be based on your society or your culture. Now, you'll also have these personal beliefs, which you need to work on, such as, I'm not good at learning languages. I'm very bad at grammar. I can't remember things. Okay? You need to work on these things as well. I'm too shy to learn a second language. These are all areas of your personal life, your personality that you can work on, develop. You might have to accept some things. For example, I'm not particularly tall, so I don't think I can ever be a professional basketball player. Okay, that's something I can't change. But a lot of these mindset issues we can change. So that's why you need to sit down, reflect, and consider how you can change your mindset. Now, as well as motivation and mindset, we also need to think about the method we use for learning a second language. And I would suggest that you think about how you learned English in the past. Was it successful? Was it effective? Did you enjoy it? Reflect upon it. you know how to reflect upon the effectiveness of what you did in the past. And maybe also think about learning other things, acquiring other skills in your life. Maybe you learned how to play the guitar, and you learned how to play the guitar very well. What did you do that made you successful at learning the guitar? And maybe you can use some of these methods and integrate them into your English language program. Or maybe you tried something in the past and you weren't successful. Why was that? Was it because the method wasn't effective? Was it because you didn't like doing it? Was it because it was too difficult for you? You need to think about all these questions. Now, also remember that it's great if we like something, if we like doing something, but some things we do may not be very effective to help us meet our goals. So you might love, for example, watching Netflix series with subtitles in your language. Well, that may make it easier. You may enjoy the program more. Is it really helping? Well, you might need to reconsider that. Something may not be quite so enjoyable. You might actually benefit more from reading subtitles in English. Might be more difficult, more challenging, but I think it's quite important to think about your long-term goals. What will really help you develop? So that's method. Now, as well as method, you need to consider your material. So I would say work out the best method for you for learning a second language. And then you can start thinking about the materials. Now, there's a big difference here between materials that are developed and designed for English language learners, such as Coursebook, and materials that are designed for fluent, proficient English speakers, such as newspapers or TV shows or radio shows, for example. Now, at C1, you're expected basically to be able to understand written texts which are written for native speakers or fluent speakers, and to understand audio or visual things, content like television or radio or podcasts that are designed as well for either native or fluent proficient English speakers. So you might feel safe with your English language coursebook, but remember, it's not designed for you. One, it's probably designed for groups, so if you're studying by yourself, it's not going to be so effective. Two, these coursebooks are often designed and written for a wide public. They're written and designed and created by companies who want to make the most money possible. So often they're aimed at big audiences like young learners or young adults. They may not be appropriate for you, so remember that. So I would say try to find authentic materials written for proficient English speakers, and try to integrate them into your language learning program. The good news is with the internet, there is so much out there. And I would say focus on your interests as well. If you're interested in football, maybe read a football blog. If you're interested in fashion, maybe listen to a fashion podcast. If you're interested in business, well, listen to a business YouTube video. Okay, so integrate your interests into your language learning program. Now, I think one aspect which is really, really important is the idea of a mentor. So think of Yoda in Star Wars with Luke Skywalker, who was there to guide, to help, to train, to help him develop those skills that he needed. So you cannot learn language really in isolation by yourself. Language is used for communication between people. So I would say you need someone to work with, someone you can collaborate with on your language development project. Now, that mentor could be a teacher like me. Teachers can make excellent mentors because they can really help you choose the materials. You can discuss what works for you in terms of the method. They can motivate you. They can help you change your mindset. But you don't have to work with a teacher. You could also work with a coach who would really focus on mindset and motivation. Perhaps you could work with another person who speaks your language but has been a more successful language learner. If you're B2, maybe a friend or a colleague has C1. This person has lots of great experience to share with you. because they can talk about what worked for them. They've been through this journey. They've been through this process. So they can really guide, help, support you, and they have empathy. They know what you're feeling. So think about people who can help you on your language learning journey. If it's a coach, a teacher, a friend, a colleague, join a support group, whatever it is, whoever it is. If they have better English than you, and that's really important with a mentor, they need to be a little bit above your level, then they can help you move forward. So let me just summarize some of the things I've talked about in this video. I think it's really important to take control, take responsibility of your language learning journey. And you can do this by really considering and reflecting upon your motivation, reflecting and considering your mindset, choosing the right method, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, sourcing, identifying materials that will help you reach your goals, and finding a mentor or several mentors who can help you in this journey to reach C1 fluency. Well, I hope that was useful. I hope I've given you some things to think about, and good luck on your journey towards C1 competence and confidence. Bye for now.